my screen with you, okay? So this is a new chapter when classical music meets the pop song. Now, we will introduce some classical music, but we will not just focus on the classical music. We will use some pop songs that will also include some classical elements in this pop song to introduce those pieces for you. So in this chapter, we will introduce the Bach music, the soothing music, and then we will introduce the Baroque period of the music, which was Bach was belong to this period, the culture and the music in the Baroque period. And if we have some more time, we will have the body movement and the oil massage during the class. So to begin with, I'm going to show you this music. So what classical music was used in this piece? So this pop song is 光良的海边. So you could pay attention to the opening and also the interlude. You will find out there's a certain classical music was using in this piece. So this piece Bach Air on G, okay, 居弦之歌. So this was composed in 1722 to 1723, and the air means aria. It means the tune or the melody, okay? So this piece was from the second piece of his orchestra work number 3 for strings and harpsichord, and it was originally written in D major. However, a century later, there's a violinist named August Wilhelm. He adapted this piece for violin and then transposed to C major. 把它改编成小提琴的版本，而且呢变成 C 调。And you know the composer during the Baroque period, they won't write any indications for the tempo or any expressions of music. So you can, if you check the original manuscript, they're written by Bach, you can see there's no tempo indications or expressions, 好，是没有标示任何的速度，还有表情符号的。It's very plain. Okay, so and also Bach was a loner. The loner 就是边缘人 and he was bullied at school. 在学校被霸凌. So during a performance, he was playing the cello at the time, and he found that all 3 of the strings of his cello was broken. 有3条弦被故意的、刻意的弄断了. So he only left the G strings, except for the G strings. So he performed the entire piece only on the G string. 好，那最后他就在这个 G 弦上面完成了所有的乐曲的演奏，这样。Okay? So I want you to take a look for this video. So A on G, string for violin. So this piece, this performer, she was performing this piece in certain strings. So what is this? So here as the picture shows the 4 strings of the violin. So it's from the thin one to the thick one. And the order is E, A, D, G, from thin to thick. Okay, so you could take a look, so which string that she was performing. You know, if you are a professional musician or violinist, you could perform this piece just in one string. But if you are the amateur performers or you're small kids, and you might need to perform this piece in 4 strings, okay? And here's another piece, the pop song that also includes the air on G in this piece. Everything is gonna be all right. Right. So Johann Sebastian Bach. He is a German, and Bach and Handel, they were born in the same year, same in 1685。巴哈和韩德尔都同一年出生的，1685。Bach, 巴哈 the same. Bach is just the translation differences. So he got his title Father of Music. He's sort of the epitome of Baroque music. 巴洛克音乐集大成者。So he is very talented. He's a composer, violin player, organist, harpsichord player, and also a singer. He was singing in the church choir 啊，非常非常多才多艺。But due to his poor eyesight, Bach underwent 2 eye surgeries by the doctor, John Taylor. So you can see the picture in your right side. He's a quack doctor. Quack doctor 就是庸医 John Taylor. So the surgeries was failed. So Bach ultimately died of a stroke. 那后来呢，因为手术失败，最后他就死于这个脑溢血。And this quack doctor got another failed case was Handel. So he was trying to cure Handel's poor eyesight, but it fails again. So this doctor, he got really poor skills for doing the surgery, okay? And Bach died in Leipzig on July 28th in 1750. You know, this is the year when the end of the Baroque period. So it's the same year. So you could see it marked the end of the Baroque period. So which means Bach is very important, like an iconic figure in the Baroque period. Okay. So, and he was born in Eisenach in Germany, Bach. And he was born in a music family. So there are many family members, they are musicians. Okay, so he came from a musical family with over 50 members, musicians. Okay, but Bach often skipped the classes during his school years, but he still achieved excellent grades. Okay. His parents died when Bach was 10 years old, and he was raised by his older brother, and a church organist. So you can see the picture in the right side. The upper one, that is Bach's father, and the bottom is Bach's older brother. So young Bach was raised by this older brother. And young Bach was scolded for copying a score for his brother, which later led to poor eyesight. You know, they don't have the light, okay? So if you want to copy something, you need to just handwriting. So he need to do this when all of his family was found asleep. So he go to the room and then copy those notes. So that's why he got this poor eyesight, okay? And his family was very poor. When his brother and sister-in-law was going to have a baby, they were unable to raise Bach. So eventually Bach was sent to a boarding school and he needed to sing in the church choir at the church school until his voice changed. So because it's free, you could study in this school, but you need to do something. You need to work for the school. So which means you need to sing in the choir, okay? 好，那就一直唱到他变声为止。Life of Johann Sebastian Bach. So he later worked as an organist at the church. After graduation, he was worked as an organist. And during his vacation, he walked 300 kilometers to Lübeck. This is 300 kilometers. It's like the distance between Taipei and Jiayi. So you could imagine you need to walk from Taipei to Jiayi. Okay, so Bach was going to visit the city he was dreaming of for a long while. But he was got fired because he never returning to his work. So that's why he was get fired. And his career can be divided into 3 periods: Weimar, Corden, and Leipzig. So the first one is Weimar. He served as a court organist and orchestra member. So he enjoyed a good salary there. And the second period is Corden. He devoted himself to chamber music and orchestra. 这时候就是第二个时期，就是着重在室内乐和管弦乐。And the third period, Leipzig, he finally got promoted, so he became the music director of the Leipzig Cathedral. OK，后来就升官了，好，就担任这个音乐总监了，好，在教堂里面的音乐总监。Okay, that's Bach's personality. He had really bad temper, and physically he would punish a student. 他甚至还会体罚学生, so which leads him for a fight and ultimately a court case. 后来因为体罚学生，他就闹上了法院这样。And while working at Weimar, he spent a month in a detention center because he refused to work simply because his boss didn't promote him. 那因为老板没有提拔他，所以他就做了一些事情，最后就被关进了那个看守所里面。He was extremely requirements for his orchestra members. So if this performance didn't meet his expectations, he would fly into a rage, even throwing his wig. 那只要呢没有符合他的标准，他就会对这些团员大发雷霆，甚至会气到丢他们那个 wig 就是那个假发。Okay, so because he was born into a poor family, he was unknown during his lifetime and was not valued after his death. 所以他其实因为非常非常贫穷，所以他在生前的时候其实完全都没有出名，都是默默无闻的。His works were even sold on the market and used as pork wrapping paper. 好，那他的作品呢，甚至当时那个很惨，被当作是回收的，被卖到市场上，去做那种包裹那个猪肉的纸，竟然是用 Bach 他的手稿。And you can see the picture in your right side. If you check Bach's photo, you can find that all of the portrait, it shows that Bach loved wearing the turtleneck clothes. 他特别喜欢穿高领。So this has some reason, okay? It's because of his childhood trauma. He has this Adam's apple. So his friend was bully him and then mock him. And then this is also the reason why he was kicked out of the choir, because he has the puberty. Puberty 就是变声, so his voice got changed when he was reached his teenage year. Okay. Okay, here comes the marriage of Bach. So his first wife is Maria Barbara Bach, his distant cousin. And he got his second wife, Anna Magdalena Bach. It's a soprano. So he married to his first wife in 1707 and enjoyed a loving 14-year marriage until her sudden death in 1720. 那他们其实感情非常好。Bach doesn't have any affair. Okay, he is very concentrate. Okay, he loved his wife so much. Okay, but his wife got her sudden death. So Bach need to find someone to take care of his children. So that's why he was remarried 1 year later after his first wife's death. So he married to his student who was just 16 years younger than Bach, 取一个比较小的学生。And he was the father of totally 20 children, but only 10 of them survived to their adulthood. Okay, this is very common. Okay, those are famous songs of Bach. Bach loved his wife so much, so when his second wife wanted to learn piano, he composed Bach's first lesson for his second wife, 帮他主步. And also, he worried that his daughter was drink too much coffee. It was harmful to her dad, so that's why he composed coffee cantata and hope that his daughter can drink less coffee. And he also got those famous works such as Brandenburg concertos, the well-tempered clavier, Mass in B minor, and also a large collection of church and instrumental music. Okay, so Bach's music is the Old Testament, while the Beethoven's and his works is the New Testament. 好，所以巴哈的音乐是旧约圣经，那贝多芬的音乐呢是新约圣经。Okay, so here comes the importance of Bach. He totally wrote 1,120 songs. He composed many types of works, such as oratorios, masses, instrumental music, such as organ, harpsichord, and also some orchestra music. 做一些管弦乐作品. So Bach was largely unknown during his lifetime, while Handel was more famous than Bach. 那潘德尔相较之下，他其实非常出名。Okay, so many of Bach's important manuscripts have been lost. 手稿都遗失了. So 100 years later, there's a romantic composer named Mendelssohn who trying to promote Bach's movement. So that's why people start to notice we got this very iconic figure in Baroque period. Okay, so Bach's death is in 1750, mark the end of the Baroque period. 好，那巴赫去世的那一年就象征整个巴洛克时期的结束。And these are the characteristics of Bach music. His music has many parts. It got some strong sense of structure, like beauty of proportion, order, and regularity. 好，他的作品的声部很多，好，那他强的就是秩序感，结构感非常非常强烈。And we will introduce this oratorio number 147, Heart and Mouth, 心与口147号清唱剧. So this was composed in 1723, and this oratorio consists of 10 pieces, but number 6 is the most famous one, the most popular one, G major. Okay, the accompaniment includes violin, viola, oboe, and choir. And it has been adapted into various versions, such as movies, weddings, mobile phone commercials, the ending theme songs, such as Prison Rabbit, 爱情白皮书，还有这个 Detective Conan， 就是柯南那个战力的乐谱，也有使用到这首。Okay, cantata number 147. So I will show you this piece, okay, Bach 147 cantata in orchestra version. And also this is Prison Rabbit. It will include this piece at the end of each video. And the street game, in the first episode, you could see, you could hear some classical music in this Korean drama. And in this first one, you could hear one piece that was composed by Bach. This is the Bach's invention, okay? So Bach totally wrote 15 inventions, and the one in the Squid Game is the number 8 in F major. 那在鱿鱼游戏当中的第一集所使用到的巴哈的音乐呢，就是这一首第8号的创意曲。Bach's invention was written for a keyboard instrument, the harpsichord, during the time. This is his love for his eldest son, Wilhelm, who was about 9 years old during the time. So it was written this piece for the 9-year-old kids. Bach wrote this piece to teach him how to read music, include the use of fingering and those ornaments. 好，怎么去弹奏，怎么去用指法，以及怎么去弹这个装饰音。So you can see there's some the fingerings 好，指法 on the top of each note. So among the 20 children, 4 of them are musicians. 还有20个小孩，里面有4个，1/5 of his children are musicians. So this is original inventions played by Andala's sheep. Okay, so classical music can be divided into 4 periods: Baroque, Classical, Romantic, and Contemporary. 好，那分成4个时期：巴洛克、古典、浪漫跟现代。So the Baroque, it came from Barroco in Portuguese. It means the pearls with irregular shape. So you could see the picture. Those are pearls, but it's not like a circle. It's irregular shape, right? But original meaning, it's a negative meaning. It means exaggeration and over ornamented. 好，那原始的意义呢 Baroque 其实是比较负面的啊，是讽刺性的，太夸张了，过度包装、过度装饰的。So it was originated in Italy and popularized in France. And during the time European courts began to colonize other countries, like African country, Asia country. So the nobility will gain the power, and the courts for sure was the center of the art. 好，那当时在巴洛克时期，宫廷跟贵族呢，就是整个艺术的中心。So they got some significant works in like architecture, painting, and sculpture. 在这3方面都有非常重要的作品出现。And there's one famous king from France, but French kings such as Louis XIII and Louis XIV were known for their love of display and showing off. 就是有这个国王啊，特别好大喜功 ，especially Louis XIV. Okay, he enjoyed luxurious banquets, like to show off his stockings and high heel legs. You can see in most of Louis XIV's portrait, he was wearing red long socks and sometimes wear high heel shoes. 他喜欢穿红色的丝袜、红色的高跟鞋。And it started to change from the solemn and reserved style of Renaissance to a more refined and ornamental style. 那也从早期比较庄严的、比较保守的这种曲风呢，文艺复兴的曲风，逐渐的转成这种比较华丽，然后比较精美的这种风格。Men start to wear wigs during the period. 那男生呢，在这个时期开始戴上那个假发。So the truth behind the wigs, etiquette, and also the status symbols. 好，那是礼仪跟这个身份的象征啊。Okay. Here comes the Baroque architecture. So it's very magnificent, which emphasizes on colors, dark and bright, with those decorative elements. So you can see those Baroque characteristics in mirrors, statues, fountains, and plazas. Okay. 好，那就比较呈现装饰性啊，注重颜色的对比，明暗的对比。Okay, for example, the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles in France have 24 massive crystal chandeliers. 好，那个镜厅呢，它就有24座的水晶吊灯。And the other example is Saint Peter's Basilica in Rome. 另外一个呢，巴洛克时期的建筑就是圣彼得大教堂，罗马的，在罗马。Now let's talk about the painting in Baroque. So they got the bright colors and emphasize on light and dark contrasts. Same as music, 好，强调的明暗对比。So you can see in the picture in your right side. So the characters are vivid and bold. So the first painting was painted by a Dutch artist called Rembrandt. The Sophonisba receiving the poison cup. And the other one is the family concert by Jan Molaner. So in this picture, you can see that their family includes sister, brother, kids, and they all play certain instruments such as violin, lute, cello, and they have some singers without the instruments. Okay. The clothes in Baroque, this is super idol King Louis XIV。好，那 King Louis XIV 大概就是当时的这个超级偶像了。So noble people always imitated the style of King Louis XIV。大家都争相模仿他的穿着。So the men, they will be very handsome and elegant with long wigs and high heels. 好，男生会穿高跟鞋。The women, they will wear layered dress with lace and ribbons that tie with bows. 那女生就是喜欢穿蕾丝，好，或是有绑那种蝴蝶结的缎带。Music, because the social needs of for the upper class, and they also need those music to show off the power and wealth of the nobility. So here comes many new genres emerged, such as opera, oratorio, cantata, sonata, and suite in contralto. 好，那这个时期呢，这个开始产生了很多样的曲种。Music was primarily created by the noble family, private academies, and the Catholic Church。好，那音乐呢，主要就是由贵族啊、私人的学会啊，或者一些教会，他们来创作的。And the court was the most influential place。那其中呢，宫廷又最具有影响力。So the music in Baroque is very present with decorative notes，很多装饰音 improvise，有即兴 ，and the contrasting between loud and soft section. It has the major and minor keys, and it got the ostinato. Ostinato is like the pattern, the low note. It will keep repeating, and it is the pattern of ostinato. 叫顽固低音。Basso continuo is also kind of the ostinato. There's an instrument that will specifically designed to play those bass notes. Okay, concerto style. 就是会有一些像是四季这种节奏有竞赛的曲子 where the solo player and ensemble compete with each other. And during this time, percussive instruments have not yet appeared. 这时候还没有打击乐 only the strings, keyboard, instrument, and okay. And these are Baroque musicians: Bach, Handel, Vivaldi, and Pachelbel. Handel. Okay, we will introduce another composer. His name is Handel. He was born in 1685, same year as Bach, to 1759. So same year as Bach. Okay, he is a German composer, but who got his career in England. 好，他虽然是德国人，但是他其实都住在英国，在英国发展。Queen Anne of England greatly admired Handel. Okay, so his father was a surgeon and hoped maybe Handel could become a lawyer. But he chose not to be a lawyer and also not a surgeon. Instead, he wanted to be a musician. Okay, he suffered a stroke in his late years and cannot move his lower body. 好，那他晚年就中风，好，所以其实他下半身是没有办法动的。After being treated by the crack doctors, 就是我们说的那个 Tyler 哈 he became blind， 后来真是失明like a tragedy. Okay, he died at the age of 74, kind of long, okay, and was buried in Westminster Abbey. 那他是被埋葬在西敏寺教堂。So his grave is right over there. So if you go visit Westminster Abbey, you could find his grave right over there. Okay. Handel, his famous work include Messiah, water music, and royal fireworks. And the oratorio Messiah was composed in just 24 days. 24天就完成. So amazing. So King George II, upon hearing the finale of the second part, hallelujah, he was so excited and he stood up to listen to the entire piece. 好，那有一个英国国王听到那个 hallelujah 太激动了，好，就一直站着听完。那 if the king was still stand up for the concert, everyone in this concert will stand up too. So it becomes the routine. So when people listen to this piece, all the audience, they will stand up. Okay, and it's depicting the New Testament stories. Totally, it got 2.5 hours, includes 5 solo, choir, and orchestra. 它里面有独唱，也有合唱团，也有乐团。Messiah, it means 救世主。So it depicted the birth, life, suffering, death, and the resurrection of Jesus. 就在讲耶稣从出生啊，还有生活、受难、受死到复活的过程。So we will listen to this piece, Hallelujah, and that of the priest, which is when those British monarchs, they will have this coronation, they will play Handel's piece, okay, kind of the tradition. All right, last piece, Pachelbel Canon, it also belongs to the Baroque period. It's simple, regular, and repetitive music. But his work often overlooked in music history. And also his work has not been properly preserved. 现在生前他的作品常常被忽略，而且他死后他的作品也没有被保管好。He was born in Nuremberg, Germany. He's a German composer and organist. He probably wrote this piece between 1678 and 1690. And it consists of 3 violins and the basso continuo. Basso continuo was played by a cello. 那这个曲子蛮特别，它是由3把小提琴跟一个数字笛，那这个数字笛就是由大提琴来担任。Okay? So I want you to listen carefully and you need to count how many times does this ostinato appear. So the ostinato is 1固定，就哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒 this one time. And you could say in the third major, it has the second time, da da dee da 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 da, and then da 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 da. So it will keep repeating, repeating, repeating. So you need to count how many times does this ostinato appear. Okay. All right, and if we get some more time, we will do some body movement on this piece, Bachbel-Canon. Okay, right. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. See you